Hello, Margaret Munoz here on the question of whether tapping can help phobias. I'll give you the short answer first, which is yes. Now, let's expand that a bit. If you're suffering from a phobia or multiple phobias, you'll know that phobias are strange things because the intense fear reactions that are provoked can often seem both excessive and irrational. And because they seem so irrational and over the top, people often don't want to admit to them. They can be embarrassed by them. And interestingly, I found often reluctant to deal with them because the fear is so intense that they just don't want to go there. Perhaps that's you. It's just too scary to even think of doing that. But the difficulty is some phobias can really limit your life, and so you do want either to be free from them or at least have them be manageable. I remember one client who needed to get on a plane for business trips, and while a lot of people are scared of flying, for her, flying was a nightmare. Another person came to me because she was pregnant and her doctor was desperate for a blood test, but her fear of needles was so intense she couldn't even get into the pathology centre. So the doctor was having conniptions. So there are some phobias that really do need addressing. So what is good about tapping is that before you even address the actual phobia, you can ease the fear of addressing the phobia in the first place, and even the fear of being without the phobia because it's protecting you in some way. I find that that's really common and so often really necessary to address. Now, there's lots of different sorts of phobias, some really common ones like snakes and spiders, mice, heights, I've mentioned needles and flying, enclosed spaces, which is called claustrophobia, or the opposite to that, which is going outside, that's called agoraphobia. I've also worked with less common phobias. A fear of frogs and bridges are two that I can think of. Why tapping is helpful for phobias is that it works right at the seat of the flight-fight response in the amygdala and calms down that response rapidly. And I personally think it's a much kinder way of helping to resolve a phobia than exposure therapy, which is often used. With tapping, you can gradually work your way through all aspects of the fear and even your embarrassment for having it and all the discomforts that it creates. With a woman who was pregnant, we tapped through all aspects of the process, from entering the medical centre, giving her name at the desk, right through every step to actually having the needle inserted to take the blood until she was comfortable with it. We also addressed the initial trauma, which occurred when she was 3 and had been held down while being given a needle. And subsequently, she was able to go for any blood tests that were requested, and of course could use tapping to help manage any anxiety that did still arise. So yes, tapping can help with phobias. But I do think it's really good to seek out a practitioner because if your emotions are very intense, you can become swamped by them and then find yourself unable to make progress. Some tapping we can do ourselves, and sometimes we need some help. My main point though is to let you know that there is help available for your phobia in the form of tapping, which is very easy to do. It's non-invasive and it has the power to go to the source of the fear and calm it down. It doesn't matter how long you've had a phobia, there's still the possibility of having it, having less power over you or resolving it completely. So I do urge you to take action in some way, on whatever phobia it is that you're suffering from. And I'm here to help you in any way I can.